I'm going to talk about a dream I had recently, but more importantly, or more relevant, is the way I analyze the dream. And I think you'll see that that relates to what we're doing with AI. So let's start out. In the dream, I was in Chicago. That's not a surprise. I used to live in Chicago. I like Chicago. I was in Chicago. But more specifically in the dream, I was in Chicago right at the waterfront of Lake Michigan. So, Lake Michigan. And Lake Michigan is adjacent to Chicago. So in the stream, I'm looking out at the lake, as I often did on my way to school, and it's pretty much covered in ice. So I knew it was winter, which is the season. That's also no surprise. If you've been to Chicago for more than a couple of weeks, you've seen winter in Chicago. But here's where I can't guarantee that I wasn't starting to wake up, but I did recognize that there was music in the dream. I often have a soundtrack. And in this case, there was a song playing, and the song title was The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. All right, so you may have heard the song. It was popular a couple of decades ago. It was written and performed by Canadian singer-songwriter Gordon Lightfoot. And I believe that he's one of Bob Dylan's favorites, so worth knowing the name. So Gordon Lightfoot was the individual person, and he wrote and performed that song. Cool. So I got this song in my head. I'm looking at the lake and it's frozen. And I guess I was starting to come out of my sleep, but I kept thinking about how these things were related. And The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald is a song about a ship called, obviously, the Edmund Fitzgerald. It's not the wreck, it's the Edmund. And that was a ship. All right, so that was a real ship. That was the subject of the song. But what was interesting in the case of the real Edmund Fitzgerald, as described in the song, is that it sank. And it sank in not Lake Michigan. It sank in Lake Superior. Okay, so how does all this fit together? What are the relationships? That's what you think about when you're analyzing dreams or when you're analyzing almost anything. Well, Lake Superior and Lake Michigan are both Great Lakes. So Lake Superior is a Great Lake and Lake Michigan is a Great Lake. It also happened to sink in winter. I'm not going to draw over there. And I started thinking, okay, where does all this fit? And I realized that where my mind was taking me on this is Gordon Lightfoot did write and sing The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, but that wasn't his big hit. His big hit was If You Could Read My Mind. So he also wrote and performed it. And this is where, I kid you not, I realized that if you could read my mind when I was analyzing my dream, or when I'm analyzing almost anything, what you'd find is a graph. Because usually when I'm doing analysis, I'm trying to find the relationships between things, and to my mind, nothing captures relationships better than a graph. So the point of this little exercise was to talk about the idea that if graphs are a natural representation of relationships, and relationships are how we analyze and organize knowledge, then it's probably a good idea for you to at least explore the idea of using a graph database. Sure, you could represent this as tables, but why would you want to?